What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ink Drink Think episode 18. In honor of our topic for tonight, Johnny, Nate, and myself have grown out our hair long enough to tie them in a top knot. We'll see how well it goes. Of course, guys, you saw the title. We're talking about Hellboy tonight, one of the most important independent comic characters in all of comic history. So without further ado, you know the deal. I am your host, Michael Pickard, and as always, I am joined by my wonderfully talented co-hosts and friends, Johnny Wise. Johnny, you are up.
Hey, I'm Johnny, as Mike mentioned. So for Hellboy, I've been practicing interiors for a little bit now, because I used to just be all about covers. And so I started maybe thinking of doing a standalone Hellboy piece, and it just naturally turned into an interior page. So it's Hellboy and heads, which has got to be one of the best Hellboy stories. And it means I get to draw loads of big ugly heads floating around. So that's what I'll be doing. And I got a little bit ahead of myself on this one, and I've already started inking it. But it's a whole page of panels, so I'm probably not going to be finished by the end. Yeah, should be fun. Started drawing some heads already.
Awesome, man. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm on the rum and coke tonight, as I think I was last week. I got like a bottle of rum from someone for Christmas, and just been working my way through it. It's always nice to have your own bottle. So
yeah,
rum and coke again, and rum and coke a lot in the future, I think.
Until you get through it, and then it's back to the cheap boys.
Exactly. Unless someone buys it for me, it's cheap.
We'll chip in. The viewers will chip in for you. Get you another.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
that would be
Let's
good.
get Johnny some booze.
The man needs it.
Yeah. Of course, guys, joining us as well, our fellow co-host and friend, Nate Wells. Nate, you're up, buddy.
Hey guys, Nate Wells, drawing Hellboy in a cave tonight. I just, needed some rocks in the background. I really, one of the things I thought about when I was penciling this one was not just trying to do like a Mike Mignola layout for it, which is really hard because you just think about Hellboy and that's he looks like Mike Mignola's work, and the layouts, it just kind of comes naturally if you looked at a lot of Hellboy, like I think we all have. I tried to dial it back a little bit and make it, something that's a little bit more. I was like, if you drew another character in a cave, what would it look like? And then I just drew Mike Mignola Hellboy in it. The body and the coat and everything, I tried to, again, just think like, how would you draw that thing? Don't think about it being Hellboy, because Hellboy has such a distinct look and it's hard to break out of that. But the face, I was like, I got to draw like Hellboy's face. That's what he looks like. But I tried to build some surface stuff on top of the structure of that classic Hellboy Mike Mignola face. And we'll see how it goes. I want to get pretty brushy and textural with the inks just to make sure that it's, more distinct than it could be. It's so easy when you're drawing this guy to just draw a Mike Mignola drawing, and that's not exactly what I wanted to do. Not that, like, if I could draw like Mike Mignola, I'd do it. I would steal his superpowers in an instant. But yeah, I'm excited to get into this one. I really like the pencils. Gonna draw Hellboy in just a bunch of rocks, so there's gonna be a lot of spot blacks. It could be pretty boring to look at, but it should look pretty good at the end. But tonight I am drinking an amber ale from a brewing company that I don't remember who made it. Cannoneer, maybe? No, Pegasus City Brew. I don't know. Somebody made it, and it's good. It's really good. I'm drinking out of my 512 brewing glass. They didn't make it, but it's treating me pretty good.
Well, Matt knows PA boys should be a Yingling if you're drinking a red lager. So.
But hey, that's craft brewer in America.
Oldest craft brewery in America. We have that over everybody else on the show. Of course, guys, you just heard me talking to him, and you know him well because Matt was the record holder for the most likes on the official Ink Drink Think Instagram for quite a while after his
son of a bitch.
Not even a host of the show.
Not even.
Only recently surpassed by Todd with his long Halloween piece. But
And that was a hell of a piece.
it was.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But we'll see if magic and lightning can strike twice, because joining us tonight, guys, Matt Battaglia. Matt, you're up, buddy.
Thank you for having me on again. I'm excited to draw Hellboy. I haven't drawn Hellboy in ages. I just penciled this out when we got on the phone a little bit ago. So I'm excited, and like Nate said, it's tough to draw Hellboy without also just trying to rip off Mignola, because he's so iconic. I'm just drinking water tonight. My wife and I were up in Vermont for a week, and I drank way too many IPAs. So I'm trying to dry out a little bit. So, yeah, I'm excited to get into it and to talk some Hellboy and some Mike Mignola comics. I'm drawing Hellboy and a werewolf because the Wolves of St. Augustine is just one of those moments that's stuck in my head of when he's ripping the skin off, and it's just what an incredible way to use werewolf graphics. It's amazing. So
yeah, that's absolutely one of the best Hellboy shorts of all of them, and they're all incredible. But that's definitely one of the ones that sticks out as that's a highlight of that series.
Heads is also like that's also one of those classics where it's like you always will remember that.
Well, here, we'll get into that topic in just a minute here. I'll introduce myself, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of Hellboy here, everybody. Like I said, I'm your host, Michael Pickard. I'm drawing Hellboy on a beach with a lighthouse. Nothing really spooky going on up front, but if you look a little bit closer, there are going to be some octopus tentacles coming up the rock that Hellboy is perched on, and the background, the clouds, are in an octopus kraken shape. The idea behind it was, one, I drew a seagull drawing this week, and I really couldn't get that beach iconography out of my head. But also, I thought it'd be fun to do a story or a visual in line with the Hercules, the pain of Hercules, or whatever the Hellboy short story is, where he fights the living embodiment of Hercules' grief. In the sense that this is the Kraken's grief. These are the remnants of this thing that murdered countless sailors, and it's haunting this beach town. But so I'll flip my camera around just to showcase what we're looking at. But also, like we've been discussing, I didn't want to push it too far into the Mignola camp and lose the originality from my end, but I also don't want to stray too far from what makes the character what it is.
Are you the only one who drew his feet?
Probably.
I think so. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't have any. I've nearly drawn his feet there, but I've shied away from it.
I think even Mignola never draws Hellboy's feet. It's just like the thing that you don't do.
Yeah.
Not enough feet in comics, but that's where I'll leave that notion. But guys, we were talking briefly right there about the various Hellboy short stories. And so to kick off this Hellboy inspired episode, I'll ask you, what are your favorite Hellboy arcs?
Oh.
I like the Conquer Worm a lot.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's got Lobster Johnson in it, right?
Yeah.
That's the one with the Germans in the mountains, right? And Johnson,
I really
I was
that
going to
one.
bring that one up as well.
And the big
That's a
chimp,
good
the big
one.
gorilla that's zapping him.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that one. If we're talking arcs and not just individual stories, that might be my favorite.
Well, individual stories are counted in this. I'm considering short stories as in this.
Well,
category.
Heads is great.
Favorite Hellboy story in general.
Yeah, favorite Hellboy adventure. We'll reword it that way.
Are you still
Heads
sticking
is
with
great.
Conqueror? Heads is a great story. Which collection is that one in? Is that in Chain Coffin and others?
Yeah, I think it's Chain Coffin. I think. I should know. I went back for it for reference for this piece, but I don't remember now.
I I want to upgrade my like Hellboy collection to the those omnibuses that they put out, where it's just like 4 softcover collections that have all the stories in chronological, like in order.
Yeah, that's very cool. I have it all digitally at the moment. In fact, I have most of my comics all digital, but I do own a few. Hellboy is one of the few ones where I actually own some, and they're library copies, because that was how I discovered Hellboy.
Oh, the big hardcovers.
Yeah, they're big. I think one of them's a hardcover, one of them's a softcover. I just took them out because I was taking out comics from the library, and I was like, "Oh, Hellboy! I know of Hellboy," and I never gave it back to the library.
Excellent.
So it's still
you're
like
admitting
wrapped
you're
in,
a
like,
thief.
film. Oh yeah, completely. But they can't fucking catch me.
Yeah, I think our show has a big library audience, so you might be in trouble.
Yeah.
They might come after you.
I don't think I've ever said my actual location on this, so I think I'll be okay. They just know I'm somewhere around England.
What are you, Scottish? I forget. What are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Somewhere in maybe the UK.
Yeah.
Are you foreign?
Yeah, exactly. I'm foreign.
Yeah, you guys. I've been really, I don't know. It not that it was hard for me to keep up with Hellboy, but I am one of those readers that, like, I'll read something and I'll really like it, and I'll go, okay, I like this, and this is the story. And so for a long time, I didn't read any Hellboy past like the 90s, because I was like, yeah, this stuff is good, I like it, and I'll read this. But I started a couple years ago, like, trying to read more modern stories because Mignola's work developed so much, and I just wanted to, like, watch that happen. And I hadn't read Hellboy in Hell, and you guys said to me last week, like, read Hellboy in Hell. So I started this week reading Hellboy in Hell, and it's really good. I really like it. It's so like larger than life and mythical and just excellent. Yeah, I've been really enjoying it. And it's like smaller stories. He just like encounters these people in hell, and they'll just like get a whole issue of like, okay, he came across this guy and he's gonna, you know, help him talk to the snake that he made a deal with, who's a demon, and he's like gonna help him guess like what's for dinner. And they gotta talk to.
That's so good.
I just like read the one last night where they like have to talk to the demon's grandmother. I was like, fuck, this is good.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
man, Hellboy in Hell is so good.
It's such a different story. Sorry, Mike, you go.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say that, Nate, I think you using the word mythology is what really, I think, encapsulates what Hellboy feels like as it goes on. Is it becomes less of the, pulp week to week kind of adventures, like Hellboy's in Mexico and he's hanging out with these luchador vigilantes, but as it goes on, it gets into that stuff where it's like, oh wow, this is like modern mythology. Like, this feels like it could be like a religious story for like some old religion.
Yeah, it's and Hellboy in Hell I really like. It's it's very Dante's Inferno, which I love. And I happen to get lucky because, like, what's the story called? It's like Wild Hunt. That kind of like leads into Hellboy in Hell. That is one that I had read, and so I wasn't completely lost. Just because, like, I'm so bad at keeping up with titles, even titles that I love. And I love Hellboy, and it's just like I'm so bad at reading comics, which is a horrible thing to admit on this show. But I got super lucky there. So I was like, oh wait, I know who this little winged guy is. But yeah, it reminds me so much of like Dante's Inferno with like attitude. Like, if Dante didn't speak poetically and he talked more like how a normal person might talk in hell, like, oh, I actually don't give a shit about what. And they're like, oh no, this is like your father's throne. He's like, I don't give a fuck
Yeah.
where I am. I'm mad that I'm here. This sucks. And it's just great.
Yeah, and I love that like later on, once they've done the whole like everything to do with Hellboy, and it's like you said, just him encountering little stories. I love that again. He's still just so Hellboyish, and he's like in hell, and these horrific things come up to him, and he's just like, "Who's this fucking guy?"
Yeah.
Right,
He's
yeah.
still like barely even.
Oh,
wants to
great,
sit up.
you're back now. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Well, I feel like he I feel like he got bored of doing the sort of, or it was always his plan, whichever. But like he clearly, the shift in Hellboy stories it ended up feeling natural because it happened over such a long course of time. But like reading the first few Hellboys and then like volumes of Hellboy and then comparing it to Hellboy in Hell, it's almost a completely different series. Like
Yeah.
the whole thing is different. The one thing that does bother me, and I think he just couldn't, like if you read some of the stuff, is that he just was burnt out or something. But like I miss that, and I thought that his art is incredible, and there was no better artist to do Hellboy. But like I wish that Mignola drew it all the primary Hellboy stuff. The fact that like Darkness Calls and The Wild Hunt were drawn by Duncan Fegredo, while he obviously does an incredible job, it just always it felt like, I don't know, it feels, I do feel like there's some missed thing there. Like I would have loved to see Mignola's art on those stories.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
no, I agree. Yeah.
Well, one of my
I
questions was going to be, do you guys have a favorite non-Mignola Hellboy artist? And yeah, I mean,
think it's Fegredo.
my favorite is Fegredo as well. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Any Hellboy story at all not drawn by Mignola, I'm always like, I'd really like to see what Mignola would do with that.
Yeah, even I mean, like Corbin, R.I.P., did an amazing Hellboy too. He did all the Hellboys in Mexico.
Yeah,
Right,
those are great as well.
But Corbin made Hellboy his own in a way that I don't think other people do. Like, but also Hellboy is sort of suited for Corbin because Corbin draws with those weird proportions and the sort of the distorted faces and stuff. Hellboy is kind of perfectly suited for Corbin.
Yeah. Did he do Crooked Man as well? Was that another one that Corbin did?
I can't remember. Probably though. That it sounds right.
Yeah, I read it a while ago, but I think it was Corbin.
Who was the illustrator on the arc where Hellboy lives the life of that African hero? He like has the spirit trip with the shaman.
Corbin.
That was Corbin.
That was definitely
Oh
Corbin.
yeah,
That one's fantastic.
Yeah, it is such a the Hellboy is like, as a character in a book, there's such a huge mythology, and there's so much so much ground that they've been able to explore with it, and I never really read much of the BPRD, but I know people swear by that series as well. And
Same, yeah. I never really branched out very much in my Hellboy reading. Odd issues here and there. If there was like an artist that I really liked.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just like, nah, I'm kind of just here for like the main story. Even though it is such a rich world. But it's like maybe once I read all of the Hellboy that there is, I'll actually go back, because I do love the world, and I do love all of the auxiliary characters. But it's just, I don't know, it's tough to like commit to like a single world in comics like that, I think, even though like it is like Hellboy is one of like the better sort of like world building experiences in comics, I think, and certainly modern comics.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
they-
just so much to read.
Yeah, when I read through all of Hellboy, I only read through the main title in the thought that, okay, I'll go back and check out BPRD to like fill in my continuity in my head as to like what all happens in that universe. But after you get through all of Hellboy, you're like, whoa, that was a lot. I can't.
Yeah,
I don't want to jump right back into it, and
yeah. And then BPRD, I've never even known where to start either.
Yeah, that's a real concern with that one too.
Which, I mean, to be fair, I could just Google, but I never have.
Hey guys, what's up, Todd?
Hey,
man.
How's it
Todd.
going? Sorry about jumping in so late.
No, glad you made it, man. Now, Todd, the fact that you know Mike Mignola
I do.
might change your ability to answer this question. But
Okay.
as Johnny asked, who is your favorite non-Mignola Hellboy artist?
Oh gosh. You mean like is meaning what? Like oh,
Like
man.
Fagredo or Corbin.
You mean as far as like who's drawn other books? Like
Yeah.
BPRD, that kind of stuff.
BPRD, even main Hellboy stories. You know, like who does the best Hellboy that's not Mignola? We were talking about
Oh,
how
man.
difficult it is to draw Hellboy without just being a ripoff of, like, without also trying to ape Mignola's style.
Boy, that's a good question. I really like Bruce Timm's pinup that he did. He's done a couple drawings.
Oh.
Who's our candidates?
I mean, just anyone that you can think of that's drawn Hellboy stories, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because Hellboy is really tough to draw without looking like Mignola.
Yeah.
So I'm always fascinated by somebody that has a different take on the character. The stuff Adam Hughes has been doing has been amazing.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, what does he draw that isn't amazing? I mean, he just is everything he touches.
He did that like a Christmas special of Hellboy a few years ago. That was really good, right?
Yeah, I read that, like a Krampus
And I
one,
think-
right?
Yeah.
I think he did
Oh,
another thing
yeah.
recently too. Man, Guy Davis, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
was
that's
a
what I was
longtime
trying to
BPRD guy.
think of him. He
Yeah,
also didn't he do the Baltimore series too?
Yeah, yeah.
I-
Baltimore's good.
Yeah.
I thought he didn't, but I couldn't tell you who did. There's been some
I thought
amazing
Baltimore was
artists.
Guy
on-
Davis.
What's
I
that?
thought he did the first few volumes.
Well, he did BPRD. Baltimore, I thought was like Tyler Crook, or there's been a number of really amazing artists on there. Like everybody's great that does Mignola book. Tansi Zonzik. I'm sure I'm butchering that
Yeah, he did.
pronunciation.
Oh,
it was-
yeah.
But he does, I think, Lobster
It was
Johnson, maybe.
Ben Stenbeck
Yeah.
did Baltimore. That's who.
Oh.
That's right. Yeah, and I think
The
he's.
confusion is I was confusing him entirely with Guy Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah.
they're real different. I think Guy Davis moved on into film or animation or something.
Yeah,
he
I think
works
they had a
with,
bad divorce.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really know the details about that exactly, but man, who did you guys name?
I mean, I said I always thought that while I would have loved to see Mignola's take on the stories that Fagredo drew, like I thought that he did a really great job of
right.
Hmm.
of because one of the things too is I do think that if you are drawing, especially a main Hellboy book, you have to deliver some of like what you're getting from Mignola. Like
Yeah.
you have to still maintain some of that storytelling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
it's got to
thought
look
that
like that.
Fagredo
That's
did a
the
good job.
identity of the book.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I would love it if I was supposed to draw Hellboy, I would love Mignola to do layouts. That would be the ideal.
That would be good.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
I find Mignola really hard to imitate as far as storytelling goes.
Yeah, and I wonder what his scripts would look like. You know, like what was he sending for
Yeah.
grade?
Good question.
And how much editorial did he like? You know, is he saying,
Yeah.
hey, you need an inset panel, like you need to insert some mood here or whatever?
Yeah.
I read a Hellboy script. It's like a recent one. It was for one of the Christmas ones, and it's like the first 3 pages. He released it as like a teaser
Mhm.
Oh wow.
because it was when I was looking for sample pages, and I think I might do it, even though this is already a Hellboy sample page that I'm working on right now. But I can't remember. I seem to remember his script writing is like, for this at least, it seemed pretty run of the mill. It was very,
We could see that.
I don't know. It was just, yeah. I remember one of the notes was just like Hellboy looks pissed off, and then it just moves on to the next bit and stuff. It
Yeah.
wasn't too descriptive or crazy.
Is there anybody that hasn't drawn Hellboy that you wish would?
That was the question I was
Um,
actually hoping to get into a little bit.
Yeah.
Has Jason Sean Alexander done Hellboy? I feel like he has. He did the one with the pirates, correct?
Yeah, he's done Ape
Yep.
Sapien.
Yeah,
He's
he
Ape
did.
Sapien. He I'm sure I would imagine Hellboy must have shown up in there somewhere.
Probably. I didn't read it all.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, his art's insane.
Yeah.
Mm.
Really
Greg
is.
Capullo.
Yeah.
He's got that
Yeah,
that
Greg
gothic
Capullo would be
vibe.
cool.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Um
Capullo like is almost too like. I don't know. I'd wonder what he would look like on a Hellboy. Like I feel like storytelling wise, he's so different from Mignola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, one
I
that
know-
one that I'd like is Dan McDade. I think he would do
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
he's good.
really interesting
Mm.
things. I'm a big fan of
I don't
his.
know
He's
who
very
that
like he's really like Kirby influenced, but he's also like
Mhm.
his stuff is so like
That's always good.
expressive and brushy. I think that
Yeah.
he's got the right taste to do it, and it would still look different from Mignola, but keep the same spirit,
Yeah.
which is I think what anyone would want from somebody else jumping on a Hellboy story. He's definitely drawn Hellboy before. I can't think of any specific images, but I know I've seen him draw Hellboy before.
Like
Oh,
a
yeah.
pinup, you mean?
Yeah.
Just for fun, like he's posted on Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his stuff. He's somebody I look to all the time. He's one of those guys that just simplifies things to where they just like
Yeah.
make sense, and he doesn't draw too much. And
Yeah.
like I said, he definitely uses different visual language than Mignola, but I think he could keep the same sort of spirit
Yeah.
for the book.
Yeah.
I dig his art too. He's good.
Oh, it's so good, yeah.
So
I'll
that
have to check
actually,
him out.
Just so loose and expressive. It's so nice.
yeah. In regards to like
Awesome.
what you guys are all touching upon with those artists, though, what to you makes Hellboy? Because of course he's so intrinsically tied to his creator. Like it's Mignola, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that, like that's Hellboy, truly. But like any
Yeah.
character, like any other artist is going to bring another flair to it. But what are what
Right.
are the elements of the character that are the essential? Like what are to you the elements that make Hellboy who he is?
So one thing that we've touched on the show before that I feel like I don't know whether I haven't seen them in a while, so maybe I'm remembering it badly, but I feel like they didn't do very well in the movies. Was that he's like
Yeah.
really tired, like a beat cop who's just seen
Tired.
everything and he really
Oh
can't be bothered.
yeah.
I didn't
He's
see
like
the
he
new
just
one.
can't be asked.
Oh,
I haven't
no,
seen the
me
new
neither.
one either.
Is it as bad as everybody
watched
says? That's
part of
such
it
a
on a
shame.
plane and I
You
lost
regretted
interest
it?
pretty quickly.
That's
I
too
didn't
bad.
finish it.
That's too bad.
I like the look of it. Like there are things of it
Yeah.
that look cool.
Yeah.
It just was. I don't recall it being very good.
That's
I
too
didn't
bad.
make it through it.
Hmm.
Yeah, one thing that's a bummer about them moving on from for me from Guillermo del Toro is that I think like in a cinema sense he makes the most sense visually as a director for a Hellboy movie. I read Hellboy comics, and it also, like, the first one came out in 2004. I was 9, so that was a big part of, like, my introduction to Hellboy.
Yeah.
I knew of the art, but I never read a book. And I may have seen the movie before I read a book. I don't remember. But, like, I was aware of the character through the movies and the book. And I was like, God, that's, and getting a little older and watching more of Del Toro's work, I was just like, man, this guy, like, it just makes sense that he would bring this look to life.
Right.
It's a bummer that they moved on from that. I don't know who directed the new one with David Harbour, but
I had started reading the Hellboy comics just before the movie before the movie got announced, or and
The
so
old-
I
the-
was
The
I
old
was
one or the new
into
one?
the old one before the Del Toro one did, and so
Right.
I had read enough of them to when I saw the movie to be like, they didn't get Hellboy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No. Yeah.
You know, why is Hellboy having a romance with what's her face? You know,
Right.
like I was
Yeah,
like, Hellboy's not a
exactly.
teenager.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know, like, Mignola had big issues with the Del Toro movies and kind of felt like he hijacked the franchise in a way. Which,
Really?
like a director, I've heard that. I'm totally just parroting things that I've heard.
Yeah.
But, like, a director is gonna do that stuff, and I think Del Toro is a good director to
Oh yeah.
helm that franchise. I mean, he's obviously, like, he's great. The movies are solid. They're not great. The movies are solid, and the casting is solid. Um,
Sure.
my hope was always that a third one would really bring it home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a
And
lot of
like I
people
said,
felt
I
that way.
missed the last one just because I wasn't super interested in it to begin with, and I
Mhm.
not that it wasn't cast well or
Sure.
didn't look solid. I missed it. Um, I'll probably watch it sometime, but I was just disappointed that Del Toro and Ron Perlman didn't get another go at it
Yeah,
to
Sure.
just round out their time.
Yeah.
Just to make that
Right.
like a solid, trilogy or whatever. Because I know that they really wanted to. If it was something that they weren't interested in, I know that
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't feel bad about it. But yeah, they were definitely interested in doing the
Right.
other one and really pushing, I think, to get it made. But correct me if I'm wrong. I think he wanted too much money to do it, and the studio didn't think it would cost that much to make it,
I don't
Mm,
know.
Could
My,
and
be.
so it never happened. Something like that.
the reason why what I always feel like doesn't translate is
Mhm.
that huge mythology angle of the Hellboy, because
Yeah.
I don't know that Hellboy as a character is, I suppose, interesting, but like I always
Right.
felt like the more interesting part of Hellboy is all of the folklore and the adaptations of myth
Of
and
course. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
that
All the
expanse of that.
influences that they pull from, and all the worlds that, as
Yeah.
a reader of literature, or someone who takes in pop culture, you're already aware of, and then they get kind of remixed in Hellboy.
Mm,
Yeah, the movies never really translated that super well. I was talking about Hellboy in Hell before, and I was like, oh, this is like Dante's Inferno.
mm,
And there's this stuff
yeah.
with like a Christmas Carol. Jacob Marley shows up in like the first chapter, and I was like, oh,
Yes.
it's just so
Oh
cool.
yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Um,
Wow. I
Yeah.
missed
and,
that.
and and stuff like that just never really got translated to film very well.
Yeah. Hellboy's
Um,
got a real poetry, and the movies are very action movie. I think, and
y- yes,
that's my problem with them, is that I feel like that poetry that Hellboy had never got across. Got a
and I
quite
Yeah. Well,
think
decent.
just
they
because
lean
it
in on
is
the
a
poet.
comic
Yeah.
book, I don't know that they'll ever make a movie. I don't know that they'll ever trust a director or a writer enough to make a movie that really does the property justice,
Who
unfortunately.
knows? Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my
Hopefully, God, I
questions
hope so.
actually. Of who do you guys think would make a good director for a
I
live action Hellboy movie?
I just don't know that it works. Like I feel like
Mm,
it's such an impossible tasked to take what's great about the comic and turn it into a movie. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know.
I think if anything, like a TV show, like an anthology show, would be a better way to go with it.
Yeah. You know what
Like
I'd like to
as
see
the
is
short stories,
I'd
because
like
they
to
always try and
see.
do it like as the world-ending stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
right. Yeah. They
Like the
kinda
big,
jump
the
from-
big bombastic storytelling. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to see a Rankin Bass stop action animated Christmas special like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Have it be a
Yeah.
musical.
Did you
That
guys
would
ever
be-
see
Yeah, that would be
the,
good.
I would
Mike
watch the
Mignola
shit
made
out of
that
that.
too. I
Did you
actually
guys
mentioned
ever-
that once to Mignola, and he was like, "That sounds great."
Did you guys ever see the animated adaptation of The Amazing Screw-On Head?
Yes, for
No,
HBO.
I
That
didn't
was
know
great.
there was one.
Is that for HBO? Wow,
I thought it was just made for DVD. I don't know. I have a.
could be.
You might be able to find it on the YouTube, but it's worth checking out because it's the closest. It's basically animated almost directly in Mignola style, and
Oh right.
it's pretty awesome because it's like, oh, this
Yeah.
is what I'd
Yeah,
want
that's
to see.
cool.
But then also,
Yeah.
it's like I could just read the comic books too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. Is like, yeah, the thing already exists.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we always, and myself included, I'm always like, man, I wish I could experience this thing in a cinematic sense. And it's like, why? The comics are so good.
Yeah.
I will say though, like to Mike's question, if there was gonna be a live action Hellboy, and I don't know if this is a good pick, it just came to mind. Who directed The Witch in the Lighthouse? Robert Eggers.
I had the same,
Oh, yeah,
Um,
Robert
the same
Eggers.
pitch.
Oh.
I want that for some reason. I don't know if it would be good, but I want that.
Nate, that was definitely in my head when I was coming up with
That's-
this layout. Was the lighthouse in the
Really?
background and everything? Yeah,
I knew.
Yeah,
it was,
you're drawing. Yeah,
yeah.
you're drawing the lighthouse.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
Mike, you're
yeah. I
drawing
want that
super
for some
lighthouses.
reason.
Yeah. I pretty much want to see that guy do anything. I love that guy.
Is that
Oh,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
Lighthouse worth watching?
if you like
Oh, yeah,
weird
Yeah.
artsy movies, definitely.
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
a lot, like-
It's definitely enjoyable.
He's
just
supposed to do
kooky.
Nosferatu at some point.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. I really want to design it for him.
I want that as well.
Listen, we failed on
Well-
we failed on the get Todd to Hamill Twitter campaign. But here we go,
We
guys.
did.
To
We are
What?
yeah. Get Todd to whoever directed The Lighthouse.
Well, I'm working
Yeah.
on some Dracula stuff, so you never know.
Hey,
Yeah,
would be
Robert
cool.
Eggers. I always get him and Ari Aster confused for some reason, just because I watched
Yeah.
The Witch and
Yeah.
Hereditary around the same time.
24 horror, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all A24. Yeah,
oh, A24
very
is-
different
I want to see that
directors.
the Green Knight movie. That looked neat.
Oh, that does sound really cool. The trailer was awesome.
That's also like that's the look of the like, but that's like I feel like there's a lot of like that whole element. That's got to be there's some element of Mignola that like has seeped through into so much of pop culture because like
Yeah.
visually he's so unique and inventive.
Mhm.
So many people working now in creative fields are probably grew up on Mignola, like a lot of us
Yeah.
here.
All the
But yeah,
Pixar
even
guys.
outside of
Yeah.
comics, certainly. But even outside of comics, like he's one of those guys. Like he's not at all like Tim Burton. But when I think about people that I'm like,
Mm.
there's nobody like them, and they've done something. It's
Mhm.
like Tim Burton and Mike Mignola.
Yeah.
Are those people that I'm just like, you can tell what their influences are,
Mhm.
but I'm like, just the way that they use them is something that only that person could do.
I think he's
And again,
totally
they're very
also-
different creators, but
Yeah.
I think
I know
he's
that-
also undervalued as a writer too.
Who, Mignola?
Yeah, just
Absolutely.
Think about like there's so much creativity in it that the whole Hellboy world
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's the thing. If he hadn't drawn it, I think he would probably be heralded as a great writer. But his art is
Yeah.
so much a part of that book's identity. People think about the art when they think about it.
Sure.
But like if you take away Mignola's writing, is the book any good? Maybe, maybe not. But if he's writing something that somebody else is drawing, I bet it's maybe not as good, but I bet it's really, really good.
I think if he didn't
Yeah.
draw it to start, it never takes off.
Yeah.
That's
like-
probably true. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't have handed that off to someone else, and it wouldn't have worked. Like his
Certainly not in the 90s.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, I don't think he would have attempted writing if he hadn't had the drawing to kind of back it up at first. I think eventually he became a great writer, but I think he was a pretty great writer right from the gate, but he probably wouldn't have had the confidence to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, because he
Be
had
able
he
to
had
kinda-
he had Burns script those early ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think real quick Byrne was like, "Hey, you don't need me for this." I think he said as much.
Yeah.
He's like,
well,
I don't know what I'm doing here.
it's funny because you feel like all of Burns' contributions in that first arc, it's just he's overwriting it, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's everything's sort of all the like it's a lot of there's a lot of narration that he completely does away with later on. Like you don't get narrative captions.
Yeah.
Yeah, the later stories you can breeze through them.
Yeah.
If you're not just studying the artwork, like there's 30 words on a page,
Mhm.
which is kind of wonderful because that's I think like using the medium to its fullest. We're like, no, you're not just
Sure.
here to read the book. Like if it was a book, I'd write a novel, but this thing's a comic, and
Mm.
it's this excellent like I said, if you wanted to, you could speed read through it. You could glance at the artwork and read a page in 9 seconds. And that's
Right.
I think a great way to approach comics is let the visual tell the story. Let the audience get immersed in the show and not the tell.
Sure.
And the way that he sets up his all like the way that he uses panels is it's great. Like the way that he paces a story too with
Yeah.
an atmosphere, you know, like it's so hard I think to do horror in comics, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
say any of the Hellboy stuff is like ever scares you, but it's certainly
Yeah. Spooky.
unsettling.
Yeah.
And it's not graphic or anything either, so it's sort of he does it all with those little panels that he throws in there.
So, guys, we got to showcase a little bit of what we were working on throughout the episode, just spotlighting everybody while we worked. But just to give everybody a closer look, we're going to hop over to Matt right now to check out how far he got on his piece for tonight. And, of course, it's going to be the next highest like thing on our Instagram, no doubt.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Son of a bitch.
There it is. I think I'm done. I don't know. I might throw some tones on Hellboy later before.
Yeah, man.
I gotta erase the pen.
Oh shit.
There you go. It's Hellboy, a werewolf. I don't know. His hand with the gun is definitely not correct. It's way too far out, but whatever.
Oh my God, his hand's so hard to get right.
Yeah, the right hand it doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah. You think?
it's so tough to draw. But anyways, yeah, that's my Hellboy
Yeah.
werewolf. This was a lot of fun to draw. And it came together pretty
Yeah.
quickly, I think.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Thanks.
Yeah, Matt,
I
that was
can't
a
believe
cool
you
choice
did
to
that
get
in
rid
that
of the
time.
right. Yeah, to get rid of the right arm too. I thought that was a really cool, creative choice.
Yeah, well, I screwed up the werewolf's hand, so I just and this was a bad piece of advice that I definitely read in an old Hellboy trade when I was too young to read it. But like Mike Mignola says, like Yeah, if you don't know how to draw it, just black it out. And it's like that's
Yeah.
horrible advice.
I've heard it say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only Mike Mignola can get away with that. Like normal people
When in doubt,
shouldn't-
black it out.
normal
Yeah.
people shouldn't think of that. That's not
Yeah.
15-year-olds shouldn't read that advice and think that that's actually something they should do because it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're not good enough.
Yeah.
That's the easy out solution.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
Matt, it's turned out absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Completely stellar. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm, of course, going to be jealous when once again we put it up and everybody goes, wow, Matt's amazing. We love Matt.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this one performs. I might color it too. Get a little crazy.
I think it's calling
Wow.
for it, man.
Yeah.
Just
Throw a little red on it.
your black and white contrast, just even from as far as the camera is, like really showcases that piece well. Like you can see the anatomy well, the composition works really strongly. It once again, stellar work.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate the ego boost. All right, let's round robin. Let's see what else everyone's got.
All right, let's do it. Todd, let's jump to you because you
Okay.
hopped in, of course, mid-episode, and I want to make sure you
Yeah.
get the time to showcase what you were doing. But let's hop over to Todd, see what's going on.
Can you see that?
Oh,
Wow. Oh yeah, I know exactly the toy you're
Oh, man.
referencing.
Yeah.
You guys have seen it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
I have to make sure I give credit when I post it because it's a great toy. But yeah, I decided that when I did Hellboy, I wanted to try and do that. So it's that I'm taking from that design, and then I wanted to I looked at a bunch of Frazetta because I kind of wanted it to look like a Frazetta painting in a way. So you've got your, the rock you're standing on with the skulls and the ribs and the moon behind him, and I've actually got a second version that is him in a tuxedo.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, my God.
I didn't know
Yeah,
how much I
I
needed that in my life.
Yeah.
I prefer him in like a gothic tuxedo. But I had to do him in his classic outfit too. So I don't know if you can see his face very well. His face was tough. He's always got to have the cigarello. It's not really a cigarette. It's kind of a cigar thing that he's smoking
Yeah.
or whatever.
Hmm.
And man, I tell you that the hand though was a son of a gun. I really had trouble with getting the hand right. I'll see if I'll show you the pencils. Those are the pencils for it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll have a process video I can send along as well. But I actually have that's on tracing paper. I have a much messier version of it that I then cleaned up. But yeah, but it was really fun, man. Really fun to do. I love it. Hellboy is so iconic.
And
Yeah,
that figure that figure is iconic. We all recognized it immediately.
Yeah, actually, it was funny because just the shape of it, I almost posted it because I was like, you can already tell it's Hellboy just by the shape, which was a real testament to that whoever designed that toy. Like he was able to push it about as far as you can go without it not being Hellboy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I design something, I think of that design because I feel like it makes me feel like I need to push things further. Like he's got these giant feet, spindly legs, this long Mickey Mouse arm, and then this gigantic right hand and this fat belly, and he's got nipples. It's so funny. There's his nipples. Yeah, I'd need to get one of those vinyl toys, man. They're great. And so yeah, that's what I've got going.
Well, it's great, man, and I'm speechless because, of course, we all knew you were going to do something crazy, but pulling that toy out for reference, because like Matt said, that toy is iconic. Even if I can't tell you who manufactured it, I can't tell you when it came out, but everybody has seen that toy, and
Have they?
well, I think a lot of people in
Of
our
a,
sphere probably
of
have,
a certain
but
age.
Yeah.
yeah,
I hope so.
of a
It's so
certain
great.
demographic, I would say.
Yeah. I
Comic
want
book
to see
nerds.
what else that I want to see what else that person did, because I'd love to see more stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I was drawing this, I was like, man, I want to see a Fantastic Four cartoon designed by that guy.
Oh
That'd be
yeah,
really cool. Because I kept thinking I feel like Ben Grimm and Hellboy have very similar designs.
Mm.
I feel like when he was doing Hellboy, he was I think he was supposed
Yeah,
to do an
definitely.
X-Men Fantastic Four thing that fell through at the last minute. So I think he was gearing up to draw some Ben Grimm, and I feel like some Ben Grimm came through with Hellboy. I feel like they're very. I'd love to see those two in a story together. I don't know if it'll ever happen at this point, but that'd be a great combination. I could definitely see Hellboy saying it's clobbering time.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know? Ooh,
Oh, for
Jesus.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I feel like Hellboy the character is cool, but the coolest part of Hellboy is all the fun mythology stuff that Mignola brings with it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he really. I used to see him at Powell's all the time, which is the biggest used bookstore in the world here in Portland. And there was this like horror and mythology section, and he was just hanging out there all the time, looking for, books and he really went deep with that stuff. He probably discovered some books that a bunch of people had overlooked, and yeah.
Well, Todd, it's turning out great, man, and
Oh,
I know
thanks.
people are gonna go nuts when they see it, just because your
never know.
intricacy and color choices. I think it's gonna look really great.
Yeah, I'm real happy with the palette. I feel like I kind of lucked out because I almost I feel like my palette has been a little bit not quite working for me here and there lately. And this one, I think I got lucky and just happened to nail it right from the beginning.
That's how coloring always goes for me. I'll nail something and I'm like, okay, how did I do that? Because I'm such a
Yeah.
moron. I don't know what I did.
Yeah. That's okay.
Not calling you a moron. I'm a moron, but
No, it's okay. I'm a Three Stooges fan, man. So it's okay to be a moron.
yes, sir.
My nephew and I love watching Three Stooges together. The kid laugh is the best laugh.
Well, speaking of a stooge, Johnny.
Got him.
Got him.
Fucking
Johnny,
get
thank you.
wrecked,
As
Johnny.
always, thank you.
Jeez.
Johnny, how's that sample page coming out, bud?
Hey, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, thanks. It's coming along pretty good. I kept losing internet for like the last 5 minutes, so I'll try and be quick. Hang on, I flipped the page, so Hellboy's hand is on the wrong thing, but I just got done inking a pretty tiny Hellboy.
It's a heck
Before
of
we
a Hellboy.
started, obviously, I finished tiny little Hellboy right here. It was tough doing his face that tiny, but I feel like I did it okay. And also, I kept having to be like, hey, wait, how did I draw it before? So I kept having to like zoom out.
Yeah.
I'm really happy with this panel. No background on any of it yet, but I like these heads. I like that head.
I feel like even like in a lot of like actual Hellboy books, sometimes you're like, oh, there's no background. It's good. It's fine. It's great.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, I'm playing around with like some of them maybe being like all black because that always looks good. I've got layouts for like because it's like in the book, I can't remember why, but I thought it was in like a cathedral or something, but it's in like a kind of Japanese garden. So I've got a lot of like floral basic layout stuff for a background that I will get round to doing, but didn't think would make good material for the show. But yeah, and then the bottom panel is going to be him just knocking a bunch of heads away.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. It's been fun. That's what he does.
Awesome.
Yeah, I needed a panel where he says boom because we haven't mentioned that yet, but that's such a good Hellboy thing.
Yeah, all the sound
Yeah,
effects in the series are incredible.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that they can never do in a movie, but is definitely missing is Hellboy punching people with his hand and saying "boom," because it only works in a comic. Otherwise, it would just be weird and lame.
they haven't done that.
I don't think so.
Like
I
they would.
feel like it would be awkward.
I'm
if they
sure
did.
that they did it and it was weird and lame.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It only reads cool.
Mm.
Yeah, I have a, let's see. I have a version I did where he's saying, "Come and get it, you dorks."
That's good. That's good. Hellboy.
Yeah, that is
dialogue.
good.
I don't know where it went. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Come and get it, you dorks.
Love it. Love it so much.
Yeah, that's extremely Hellboy.
It seems like it.
Well, Johnny, man, I am so happy that you've ventured into the world of actual interiors again, because
man, yeah,
this
me
is turning
too.
out incredibly stunning.
Thank you, bud.
Like, it's one of the. I mean, I'm at a loss of words fairly often with art. Maybe it's just my, lack of intelligence. Maybe it's the alcohol in my stomach. I don't know, but
Nah.
like this one is
Wow.
Can't be
absolutely
that.
stand out. Like, it's incredible.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, very good, man.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you do more pages. It's always I
Yeah.
always like when you guys are doing sequentials. It's always more fun.
Yeah, yeah. I've been really going a bit crazy with. I finished like 3. Well, one of them was a cheat page, but I finished like 2 pages today. So I've been
Oh,
I've
wow.
been really getting into it.
I'll have to check those out. I've been out of the loop.
Yeah, I mean they'll be on my Instagram soon, but they're in the group chat
Yeah.
as well.
Cool.
I mean, yeah, it was technically 3, but one of them is like just a blank title page, so that's kind of a cheat.
Yeah, that doesn't count. That's not a page. Mike, I gotta run, so I'm hopping off. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Matt,
It was
thank
good
you
hanging out with
again
you, man.
so much for joining us tonight. Like we've said before, you're always welcome to. And if we're still hanging out after the show, stop on by.
I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you guys. It's been great. And I will hopefully talk to you guys soon.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Take care,
Damn.
Matt.
Mike. You got way far in the ears too.
Yeah, I was not expecting to. I'll send you a picture of it after the recording, just so you get a glimpse
Awesome.
at it.
Awesome. All right. I will talk to you guys later.
Nice
All
one,
right,
man.
see you, Matt.
Sounds good, Matt.
See
Take it
ya.
easy, man. What a mensch. Love that guy. Just to spotlight him
Yeah.
right now, everybody, make sure you check out the description below this video. Please check out Matt's Instagram and his website link. Check out everything Matt's doing. He just recently did some labels for a brewery for some beer bottle labels, and they're
Nice.
awesome. As kick-ass as
Alright.
you'd think they would be based on Matt's art. So please go check out everything Matt is doing.
We'll have to drink those beers on the show.
That would
Yeah.
be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here, just to keep the ball rolling here, Nate, I see that your Hellboy is practically finished, but you're getting into the background detail now.
Yeah, I got done with most of the figure. There's definitely some places that I want to take the some whiteout to, but I want to get through a little bit more of the inks before I really commit to the whiteout, because a lot of times that's like a thing. Once I start going, I just want to do whiteout. But yeah, the background's a little bit more expansive than I was really anticipating. I was hoping that it would just be like a few minutes. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna draw a few rocks. It's like, oh no, the rocks are gonna take 2 hours to do. But yeah, the figure's mostly done, and I'm pretty happy with it. I did the things that I set out to do. It's brushy, but like the shapes are still kind of classic Hellboy, which
Yeah,
is
it
really what I
looks-
wanted it to do. I wanted to construct it like Hellboy, but then do all the surface stuff like I would do it. And really, when I say like construct it like Hellboy, like the shoulders and the face were the important things to me.
Huh.
Yeah.
He's got those sloped shoulders that just to me look like the character. It's hard for me to
Yeah.
draw him with like broad shoulders. His anatomy to me is different from like what I would draw another character as. His
Yeah,
neck
yeah.
just kind of
Yeah.
rolls into his arms in a
Yeah.
really cool way. That's not like in real life, that's not a masculine trait, but it feels so
Heavy.
like burly and manly with
Yeah,
Hellboy that
I
it
really
just
like
works. And that's something
the later
that
on.
like Mignola even in the beginning didn't do. Early
Yeah, yeah.
Hellboy has pretty broad shoulders and big arms,
Mm.
Yeah.
and then he gets away from that. And so I struggled to decide which one I really kind of wanted to draw, because early
Mhm.
Hellboy being a little bit uh less Mignola-y in a way,
Mm.
um fits probably with anybody else's style of drawing a little more, because it is
Mhm.
like he's never house style at all, but it's
Mhm.
an easier translation.
Mm.
uh and I wanted to do, just because I'm reading, like I said before, I'm reading Hellboy in Hell right now, and so it's a more modern story. I was like, it just feels right to sort of like push myself to like slope those shoulders a little more, get the face of the shape of the face a little weirder. It felt a little right, but then like when it gets to like his left hand, I'm just gonna draw a hand, and then like I feel a little bit more comfortable like with his right hand. I know the shapes of the thing, and so drawing it in a way that feels a little bit more natural and less Mignola-y um,
Mm.
still works. But yeah,
Mhm.
I'm pretty happy with what I have so far.
Mm.
That's
Definitely
awesome.
have a lot of work in front.
You think?
Oh yeah, yeah. I want these.
Yeah.
I want these rocks to be good.
Yeah.
It was the layout originally had a little bit more of that like Mike Mignola, like things feel like they're floating in an abyss kind of look
Mm.
to it,
Mm.
and I wanted to ground it a little more, like I was saying in the intro. I was like, if I just drew a cave, what would it look like outside of like a Hellboy comic? And so I
Mm.
tried to do that a little bit more, because it's just so hard to draw Hellboy or even Hellboy in a setting without just doing everything Mike Mignola would do. It's super hard to
Yeah.
get out of that headspace.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was saying something along the same lines. It's really hard to draw him without just imitating Mignola's take on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause he's like a cartoon character, and like if you don't
Yeah.
get it right, that's just not what he looks like.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
again, like, for me, I feel like that's where there's a similarity between Hellboy and the Thing, Ben Grimm from the Fantastic Four, is that the Thing drives me crazy because I love that guy and I can't seem to get him right, and it's like
He's
you just
hard as fuck to draw, yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my god,
I hate trying to draw the thing. I just
I,
never
I
do.
I love it, but it never turns out right, and I'm like, what am I missing? Like I look at it, but like what drives me even more crazy is when I see somebody else draw them and they don't get it right, and they're published in a book or whatever, and
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
he doesn't have a neck. Like Arthur Adams, I love Arthur Adams, but he draws Hellboy with the Thing with a neck, and I'm like, he doesn't have a neck. What are you doing? It doesn't look quite right. He's still great, but yeah. And then he's got like these shoulders that don't exist, and all kinds of weird stuff, and it just goes off the. My Ben Grimm drawings always start out great and then just start going downhill, and I'm like, I don't understand where I'm going wrong right now. And Hellboy's similar. Hellboy's easier to draw, but it turns out like Mignola really
Mm-hmm.
fast for me at least.
Yeah, it's hard to escape the creator influence on this guy.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, because it's more so than most characters. It's just tied to the identity of the
yeah,
character. I mean,
yeah.
there's no prominent Hellboy books other than just like drawings that people might post on Instagram that don't look like, where you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's Hellboy. The shapes are Hellboy.
Right.
So it's tough and um ill-advised, I think, in a way, to
Mm.
try and move away from that.
Yeah, I
move
would
away
agree with
from
that.
the Mignola
Too
approach.
far, I should say. Yeah. Ill
Yeah.
advised to move away from it too far. I think everyone should put their stamp on whatever they work on. But at some
I think
point,
people
especially
should
with
do it.
Hellboy, like it's gotta look like Hellboy in a way. Just like you were saying
Right.
with the Thing. I think that's a great analogy. The Thing looks wrong a lot of the
Mhm.
time. The last Fantastic Four movie, Fan Four Stick, Thing
Oh
did
yeah.
not look like the Thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they
There
better
was
get him
something
right
weird
in
and wrong
the
about it.
new Marvel movies.
But here, guys, we'll jump around to my piece just to round out
Yeah.
our quartet that's left after Matt's leaving. It definitely got further than I was expecting.
Nice.
Got a lot more of the detailing in than I
Oh,
thought I
yeah.
would.
Yeah, I like those tentacles, man.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun
yeah.
drawing the Kraken ideas coming through the rocks here.
I thought you weren't gonna do tentacles anymore after the Brainiac you did, like the first time we ever hung out as a group.
Listen, I think
Oh,
that only inspired me to do tentacles on this one, just to prove that I could do it again.
Nice.
But I'm also
I
attempting them
appreciate the
differently.
effort.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave them
Yeah.
mostly white. So against these like
Yeah.
rock formations that are coming out of the sea here, a lot less detail, and they're not as intertwined as that Brainiac piece. That piece was wild. Never doing that again.
Yeah.
Check it out on my
Ha.
Instagram though, everybody. It's also for sale on pickardart.com. Anyway, to
Nice.
Hellboy. Yeah, I got further than I was expecting. I even did a little bit of brushwork just to help him pop off for the camera view here. I did the black t-shirt here. I don't know why. When I did some sample Hellboy pages roughly a year ago, I drew him with a black t-shirt on, and that made sense to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it works. Yeah, for sure.
I think my small deviation of Hellboy's design is that his pants are going to be more of like a charcoalish navy color, like a grayed out color, and the shirt is going to be black as opposed to being shirtless. Just a small
Yeah.
deviation. I think it'll help pull him from the background a little bit, especially because he's going to be against this cloud here that it's kind of hard to see, but there's going to be this octopus cloud, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, that's prevalent throughout the background here. Yeah, all in all, it's coming out pretty good so far. Perspective is working. I learned some things from my recent seagull drawing about doing water that I'm applying here that I think is going to come out really strong in the splashing down here at the rocks and also throughout the ocean scene back here. But yeah, so far I'm pretty proud of it. Still have to do this arm here with his gun. But yeah, I still have to finish up the lighthouse back here. But all said and done, I wasn't even thinking I was going to ink this tonight. I thought I was just going to be penciling. So I'm
Yeah,
proud of
we'll,
myself.
we'll
I got
send
more
that
done than I
to-
thought I would.
Yeah, we'll send that to Robert Eggers so that he can make the Hellboy movie that I want.
Well, here, guys, that just about wraps up the episode. Thank you so much for tuning into Ink Drink Think, episode 18, the Hellboy episode. Of course, like I said, check out the description below where you can not only find, as I said, Matt's Instagram and website links, but all of our individual Instagram links and the official link to the link to the official Ink Drink Think Instagram page. Now I'm feeling the effects of the trope meter.
It's the official link to the official page.
The official. Anyways, guys, make sure you go down to the comments below. Tell us what Hellboy story is your favorite. And as always, I have been Michael Pickard, joined by my wonderfully talented co-hosts and friends, Johnny Wise, Nate Wells, and Todd Blackwood. We'll catch you guys in episode 19.